Welcome back to Heavy Muscle Radio. I'm Dave Palumbo. On the line now with Mike Liberatore, Ifbb Pro, who was present this past weekend at the St. Louis Pro Show and the Bros vs. Pros. Mike, you were my right-hand man there. Helped me with all the wrap-ups. You watched all the festivities. What did you think of the St. Louis Pro Show this past weekend?
Well, man, I got to say there's a great turnout, and, you know, that's really big for the competitors, because a lot of times you go to shows and you're just like, it's 300-400 people there, and you know it doesn't pop. You know, whatever Jack's doing to get them in the door, I think he had like 1,400 people, and it's nice that they have, you know, some vendors in there and everybody's all in one room.
Yeah, I like that.
You know, definitely, you know, A+ across the board on everything, and that's what you want. I mean, he said St. Louis, you know, people come out for that stuff and support the people. And with our sports, you know, it's you know, definitely not mainstream. So anytime you're at a place and you can get that kind of a turnout and support from the family and friends and even the community is great.
I happen to agree. I like the fact when they hold these shows all in one big ballroom where they can put the booths there. So if you want to go to the back of the auditorium and you want to visit the booths, which there were 26 of them, which is unheard of.
Yeah.
At a show that's not of a mega proportion. Although, from what I hear now, next year he's holding it, and he wants to hold this thing in an arena, like a huge arena, and do over 2 days. And I think he wants to combine the Bros versus Pros with the St. Louis Pro and with the amateur event. So it's going to be like a whole, almost like a Ben and Eddie Pariso type of affair.
Yeah, I mean, Jack definitely always has, you know, big visions for everything. So he definitely. I don't doubt it. You know, it's just the first year, every time it goes, it gets better and better. And he said he's taking the money and putting it back in the show. So it's not like he's just, you know, going there and saying, "Look at all the money I made." He's trying to bring it back and make it better each time. So it's a great thing.
He was throwing around a little money on Sunday because he was in a good mood. He actually bet Brian Hildebrand, our RX muscle strength editor-in-chief, that he couldn't do one pull-up, and Brian actually won that bet and won $100.
Yeah,
so
there's $100. You know, Brian's a big man, but he's strong regardless. I think I would have never bet him $100 for one pull-up.
Maybe 2 pull-ups, but not 1. I don't know if he could have done 2. He should have gone with 2. That's would have been a better bet.
I didn't see it. How clean was it?
He actually made him do it, and then he said he didn't do it right. So he actually did it like 2 or 3 times. So they were pretty clean. You know, for a big guy, I don't know if I could have gotten myself over the bar with my bad shoulders. So I got to take it.
Not with your shoulders.
No.
Hey, when you were like 310 or whatever back in the day, you could have done it. Though.
I don't know. I would have. Yeah, I would have done 1. I probably could have done a couple of them. The truth of the matter is, even I could do almost anything for money. I probably could have done a few pull-ups even with I could have done one-handed pull-ups probably for $100. So. It's amazing what money does to motivate you, you know?
Well, I think, you know, Jack kind of bailed on his second bet. He bet Candace that she couldn't do 3 pull-ups, and I think she ended up doing 7. And he said, no, like, you had to be the highest or something like that. You had to do 15. I was like, that's a bunch of crap. You know, he didn't say that.
Yeah, he changed it. He was changing his bet. He wasn't winning very many bets the whole weekend, actually, but of the people who were winning the bets, so
exactly.
Everyone made out.
That was not his weekend for gambling.
Well, let's talk about the show. Okay, we had 3 events, or 3 pro events, I should say, in addition to the NPC Midwest Championships. The 3 pro events, obviously, being the fitness, the pro bikini, and then you had your pro women's physique, which to me was originally the most enticing of the events because I like this new women's physique division. I want to see where it's evolving to. And to me, it was a little bit of a letdown. I thought the competition level was not quite what it was at the Desert Muscle Classic in Phoenix, and I still don't think it's at the level where everyone's really super excited, but I think we're excited about the prospect of it. We haven't really seen anyone emerge as a very dominant winner. What'd you think of Sarah Hurley, who won, and Michelle Blank, who finished in second?
Both were great. You know, Sarah looked good on stage. She has very nice proportion and shape. I think, you know, if she had to maybe do a little bit more, I mean, she was a figure competitor, so I think, you know, maybe a little bit more thickness on her back. Not a lot, but just a little, and then to come in a little drier. But, I mean, girls, they look good, but I'm still, we talk about in the wrap-up, I'm still a little lost as far as what they're going for and, the hardness that they're looking for, position, and the size, because I just really want to see some beautiful physique, or still muscly, or somewhat muscly, less than bodybuilding or more than figure, with, some conditioning and preparation. So, I think that's one of the reasons why it's kind of like it's been anticipated, but the people don't know what they're supposed to be looking for.
Let me throw a name out at you, okay? 7th place finisher, Antoinette, or Tony Thompson, as she's known. She's been a professional bodybuilder for a number of years. Always one of the smaller ones. Never really worried about trying to keep up with the Joneses. Just did her thing. Very beautiful girl. I thought, when I looked at her, I said, this is women's physique to me. I don't think that she was extreme. I don't think she was extremely hard. Matter of fact, I would have liked to see her a little tighter. What do you think the judges didn't like about her?
I think probably just because she is maybe a little bigger. I don't know. I mean, I thought she looked great too. You talked with Lee, and he gave you kind of the gist of what they were looking for. And we also touched upon you have to judge what's put in front of you. So it's so hard to really think what they're looking for, because the first show last year when Dana Lynn won, here's a girl who's got great abs, is pretty hard. She comes back this year and they added some size to her, and I think most people thought she was going to walk with the first show, and she found herself, I think, what did she finish, 4th?
Yeah.
So and I think most people thought she was the standard.
Yeah.
And the fact that the standard came in and took 4th, I think that threw a lot of people. So I think at this point in time, nobody really knows, who's going to win. I mean, you can put the winner from the Desert Muscle Classic and is it
Karina Nascimento?
Yeah, Karina Nascimento with Hurley, and those girls can compete against somebody else, and they can both lose. So it's like you don't know from the next show who they're going to pick, and that's, I think, when you don't know, it's hard to really anticipate something.
I liked Michelle Blank, who was 2nd place, a lot. I like her physique a lot, although I thought she was way too soft. And the reason she was too soft is because she wasn't even planning on competing that weekend. She was planning on competing in Orlando.
She stopped dieting, didn't she?
Well, she had an injury too. So, and then Sarah Hurley, I think, decided a week before. So I don't know if she was, she thought she was going to be doing figure. I thought both of them were way too soft. I understand that Lee Thompson explained that he was basically judging what was up there. There really wasn't that much other to pick from. I actually liked Marina Lopez's physique, but once again, she's still maybe a little too big. I thought also Tony Thompson really got a raw deal. I thought she should have been no worse than 3rd here. I don't know if I would have had her winning, but I would have had her definitely top 3. I think that they're afraid to reward bodybuilders in this division because they're afraid it's going to scare away the other girls, but I don't think that necessarily is the case, because I don't think that anyone can look at Tony Thompson's physique and be intimidated by it. So I don't know. I think there's going to be some meetings about this. There's going to be another pro show. I think this coming up next week. John Lindsay's got a show coming up in Sacramento. It's not John Lindsay's show. Excuse me. It's the California Governor's Cup. That's on March 24th. That's in Sacramento, California. That's going to be another. I think there's a figure event there, and I think there's a women's physique event there as well.
Do we know when Sarah plans to compete again?
Sarah will compete at this show, this women's physique show at the Governor's Cup in Sacramento. There's also a men's physique show, and there's going to be a pro figure event. So,
well, it should be interesting with Sarah to see how she does now that she's won a show, if that will give her any sort of leeway with the judges.
Yeah.
The fact that, hey, she could walk in there with her head kind of high and say, I've won. I'm one of 2 girls right now. So see if she can keep the ball rolling. And, if she wins again, then you start getting a little bit of what they might be looking for. And she's an attractive girl and looks good, so I think that's part of it, having the balance between the physique and still staying, feminine. And when they say when they say stay feminine, they really look at, I think, for the woman to be pretty still. Not that, female bodybuilders aren't, but, from a lot of dieting and things, they get a little bit more drawn in the face. So I think they still want the faces not to be so drawn, to be a little fuller, a little softer. So it should be interesting to see how she does.
I would like to see her coming in a lot tighter. If I was helping her, I would be having her through 3 hours of cardio a day for the next 4 days, because I think that she got to get that glutes and hamstrings a little tighter. I mean, you got to have there's got to be some detail there. I'm not talking striations, I'm talking detail.
Right.
And to me, there was not much.
Clear separation from muscle groups, where, especially when you say glutes, hands, you should see the flow between the muscle groups when they come together.
To me, she was an out of shape figure competitor on stage, with more muscle than the other girls, and with a little bit better shape, and that's why she won. So, it's an evolving class, and I think it's going to take another year before we really meet it out. I think you and I used the idea, or the business model, so to speak, of the bikini division. It took them a while to kind of get that right. And I don't even know if they got it right yet. They're still philandering a little bit. Let's talk about the bikini division. Jennifer Andrews reclaims her crown that she won last year. So she is a 2-time champion here. She tightened up quite a bit from what we experienced later in the year, because I guess they told her she was too hard. She wins the St. Louis show. They tell her she's too hard. Meanwhile, she won. She softens up. She does terrible after that, and then she gets tight again, and she's back in the winner's circle. So I guess she found out what worked for her physique, and the judges seemed to like it. And she got almost unanimous first place votes there. She was followed up in second by Jennifer Chapman, who's been on the rise. She won the nationals at her weight class. She was fourth, I believe, at the Masters Pro Bikini Championships, and then she placed third at the Desert Muscle Championships there, and now she's up in that second place spot. So she's on the rise, and I think the two of them really had a lock on that 1 and 2 spot. Which one did you like better, and did you think that they both deserved to be in those that first and second place slot?
Well, I have to be biased for one reason, because of who I live with. But I mean, even between with Christina, I had her winning easily, and that's not trying to be her boyfriend. I'm just talking about.
You're talking about Christina Voynich, your live-in girlfriend there, and the co-host of Muscle Girls Inc. and Access Bodybuilding, and she was looking spectacular, I might add. She wound up finishing in 5th. What was she told? Did she talk to any judges?
No, I know she talked with Maz a little bit, and what was he saying? He had some good things to say. He said she looked great. I don't think she didn't say anything about hair.
My critique was that I thought she should put some hair extensions in, because she does have a long torso, and she is one of the taller competitors. And sometimes, if she was a runway model, it would probably look great. But maybe, she needs to balance her symmetry off a little bit.
He said that the one thing is, you don't see bikini competitors really looking any different. Okay, they come in from show to show, and they pretty much look the same.
Yeah.
That's because they don't. It's a style of training. We both know that most of them do a lot of cardio and don't really lift weights. So they end up, over dieting and just doing a bunch of cardio. Christina obviously doesn't do that. She lifts weights, and she wanted to look different, like a bodybuilder, and say, hey, look, I've improved. I can change my physique. I can manipulate the way I look better than anybody. So let's try coming in a little bit harder. And Maz said, you look great, you're perfect, everything. He's like, but when you come in a little harder, he's like, you lose a little of that shape or the roundness. I mean, Christina does have curves for being so tall. Yeah. Her waist, I think, is 23.5 or 24.
Yeah, she had a tiny waist.
Her hips are like 37. So to say that she doesn't have curves is not true. But Maz is right, saying that, if you're a little bit softer, or bigger, maybe even bigger as far as muscle-wise, then you'll get a little bit more of that flow, and it won't, it won't be so straight up and down. And that was his only critique. He's like, you look great, and it's just, maybe soften up just a touch. But, when she did Iowa, they told her that she had to lose 7 pounds. And, Maz was kind of like, well, where did they get that number from? He's like, I don't see it. You don't have to lose weight. So, but besides that, I mean, with Jennifer Andrews and Jen Chapman, I kind of liked Jen Chapman a little bit better, because
what'd you like about
she was hard for first place and second place.
Why did you like Jennifer Chapman better?
She was harder.
Okay.
She was a better shape to me. I thought that Jennifer Andrews still was soft and needs more in the legs. Like, when I look at her legs, there's not too much underneath there. I mean, she does have great shape and she does have great stage presence, but I think for bikini, it comes down to your legs, butt, and of course, just your presentation and hair and makeup. So, I mean, they can't really be muscly up top or have capped shoulders or too much of their abs, but, a nice set of legs and a great butt, I think, is what is needed. And, Jen Chapman definitely was harder, and I like that a little bit better, but that's just my preference,
Okay. That's duly noted. Taylor Matheny from Sand Springs, Oklahoma, was third. And you and I talked about her. She seems very young, and I think that she refines a little bit, maybe the hair and makeup. She looked makeup was a little muddy on her face. And if she can refine that, she could be a champion moving forward. They seem to like her. She's got the nice blonde hair that stands out, cute. And what would you like to see her change?
I just think her presentation. The girls that have been around a little bit longer, and I'm not even saying that look older, but I'm just saying that have a little bit more life experience or whatever, I think a little better, a little bit more confident on stage, and to me that's more attractive. With her, she kind of plays to her age or plays like she's younger, and to me on a professional stage, it's just a little bit too bubblegum lollipop for me.
Gotcha.
She does have a good physique, and deserving to be in those spots or to be up there in the call out. But to me, it's like she could be a little bit more confident and not have to play to the blonde hair and the pink suit and the things like that. Which would still look good, but I just feel that she could probably act a little bit more confident on stage and the way she carries herself.
All right, duly noted on that one. Michelle Brannon from the United Kingdom finishes in fourth. I was taken by her. I thought she's got serious good potential. Tan could have been a little better, maybe a little better makeup on the face, but beautiful girl, great shape, and I predict that she will probably do some good things in the future. I think that she's got the makings of a very good bikini competitor.
No, I agree. I thought she looked great. There's some stuff online about her, so she got a little bit of press coming into the show. Because I know Christina, when we were looking through the line, she showed them some pictures of her, and we thought that she looked good. It's difficult coming from overseas. You're not maybe as informed of the tanning and where to go and such. It's difficult. So unless she has a little bit of help here, some connections here, and I'm sure she'll get used to it more because this is her first pro show. She's going to keep getting better, and I think this is definitely a good showing for her.
I agree 100% on that one as well. Let's talk about the pro fitness event where it was really a two-woman Bethany Cisternino versus Oksana Grishina. Oksana wins her very first pro fitness event. A lot of people don't realize that, but she's been in the sport for almost 8 years, or six to 8 years as a pro, at least. She's been a rhythmic gymnast in Russia for over 10 years, 15 years, something like that.
And you could definitely tell that.
Yeah, she's got a phenomenal routine. The interesting thing, as I'm looking here at the scorecard here, Mike, you and I predicted exactly right. Bethany Cisternino actually won with straight unanimous first place votes at the prejudging, which is basically 25% of their score is the physique round. Bethany won the physique round. I think they thought Oksana was probably a little too hard, and that counted down against her a little bit. Moving into the final round, however, Oksana's routine just kind of blew everyone away. She got straight first place on that, or pretty close to it as well, and kind of sealed the deal there at night. And obviously the night show routine round being 75% of her score really put her into that position to take home that first place prize. Was she the deserving winner?
With those percentages, yes. I agree with Bethany that Bethany definitely had the best shape and physique on stage. But then in the evening, Oksana, her routine was, amazing. It was tremendous, and we both thought, wow, you know, how do you really get much better than that? It is, you know, entertaining and everything. So with the percentages being that way, then yes, I see Oksana winning. Do you know what? In the past, it used to be 50-50, or haven't they played around?
Yeah, it used to be 50-50. They changed it because they want to reward the fitness girls who can do routines rather than... In other words, they don't want another physique. They want really a division that has some physique, you know, rewards, but that has more of a routine reward. And I think that's a good idea. I think it's very good because I think Oksana is so entertaining. And you know what the truth is? And I'm going to put this on the line. I didn't think this was her best routine. Not even close to one of her best routines. It was an entertaining routine, and she's so energized on stage that she just sucks you in, but not one of her best routines. So I think that, you know, come Olympia time, she puts together a phenomenal routine. I think that she could challenge Adela Garcia. As dominant as Adela is, I don't think that Adela could touch her on the routine. I really don't. I don't know how Adela wins the routine round with Oksana in the lineup, to be honest with you.
I agree. And I mean, even in the past, you know, when Jen Hendershot has won here and there and is challenging a lot, you know, for the title, that if she would have been rewarded with 75% of her routine, I think Jen would have won a lot more.
Yeah, I agree.
Because her routines were, you know, non-stop energy. It's just, I mean, that woman does not stop. So in the past, you figure if there would have been 75-25, you know, Jen could have had more victories. But I agree with you at the Olympia. Oksana, I mean, how old is she? Do we know how old she is?
I think she's maybe 30 or something like that. She's not yet. She's not old.
If she's not that old, then she's definitely going to probably be the new champion, or definitely
eventually
challenge Adela. Adela, you know, of course, I think has a better shape or physique. But that being said, if Oksana really, you know, pulls it all out and puts everything on the line, her routine is, I think she could beat her. So it should be a great show at the Olympia.
Now, Oksana's physique was so conditioned that I actually thought that she probably could have won the women's physique division too. She was probably harder than way. She definitely was way harder than those girls.
Way, without a doubt harder. And to me, that's what it should be.
I think so too.
There's nothing wrong with that. She still looked feminine. She still looked attractive. There was nothing wrong. You're talking about being a professional, you know, competitor in the Ifbb. You know, that's a fitness industry founded on bodybuilding. Yeah. And to me, the separation and the conditioning shows her commitment, and also shows, you know, that she's genetically gifted, because not everybody on stage can look like that. And to me, that's what they should be rewarding, because she is just, you know, she's gifted the same way Bethany is gifted with her physique, and Bethany's condition was right there. I mean, Bethany was harder than any of the as well. So I mean, it's, to me, that's physique, figure, any of them. As long as you're not too big for that division, I would like to see condition.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? The funny thing is that I talked to Bethany when I was interviewing her about her routine, and I thought her routine was better. It had more entertainment value than it normally did. She did something like a little takeoff on Footloose. But the problem with Bethany is that she seems to run out of steam a little bit, even though her moves are incredible. I mean, she's so technically perfect on stage. Yeah. And I recommended to her, I said, you know, why don't you just cut your routine down in length? Because some of these girls just can't go the 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes.
Sure.
They get tired. So her answer to me was an interesting one. It was actually could be valid. She said that they have to do a certain amount of required moves, and it's hard to get all those moves in anything under 2.5 minutes. So if that's the case, I think that she's going to have to just work on her conditioning level, because Oksana looks like she never tires. From the minute she starts to the minute she ends, the energy is just absolutely intoxicating. And that was the same thing, like you said, with Hendershot, the same thing with Kelly Ryan back in the day. And Bethany's going to have to bring that level of energy into her routine if she's going to want to win the Fitness Olympia title.
Yeah, I think what she needs to find is she needs to find time, or a filler time, where she's still performing, but she's also getting that air that she needs and getting some of that energy back. I mean, Oksana's non-stop, but there's spots in that routine that are specifically designed
for breathing,
for her to breathe and to get ready to perform your next move. I mean, it's just if you watch a figure skater, you know, they do some of the jumps, and then the routine doesn't slow down, but it allows them to put other pieces and things that they need to perform the rest of the routine. So I think that's the only thing she's missing. It's like, you know, if you watch Tansy Johnson, it's the same thing. Energy, 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 and it goes. But there's parts in her routine, whether it's her dancing or whether it's, you know, just walking around showing some attitude or something like that, she needs to find a little bit of that filler time where she can, you know, suck some air and then finish strong.
Well, I don't think we've disagreed one time. Once again, this was a great show. Jack will be back in St. Louis, I hear, I think second weekend. That's 2 weeks before the Mr. Olympia contest for another show, or the 12th. I think it might be the 12th of September. He's going to be back there.
We'll probably be back for that, I think. I was talking about. It's close for us, and it's hometown, so... You know, why not? You know, it's an easy show. I think when you're close, especially for bikini competitors, they should be able to compete, you know, all the time. And you know, we're definitely, I think, you know, definitely going to come back to another show that Jack's got, knowing that he gets that kind of draw.
Yeah, and I'll be there as well. So we'll get to reconvene in St. Louis. I had a good time. They had some good sushi restaurants there. I went to this one place, the Drunken Fish, which is a great name for a sushi restaurant. I kept thinking it was called the Rusty Nipple. I couldn't get the right name down, but I went there 4 times and I finally got it. The Drunken Fish, it was a great restaurant. I ate, like I said, they had some great rolls. I had a little too much sake last night, but other than that, I can't complain. And they had a great supermarket. They had a Whole Foods like supermarket right across the street from the hotel. So everything you needed was right there. Jack researched the weekend perfectly, and
great job. Hotel was beautiful. It was, you know, great, not too far, but you know, I had my car, so we were maybe 2 or 3 minute drive from the venue, and you know, they had plenty of parking. You know, the parking garage is right across the street.
Right.
So when it's that accessible, it always makes it easier for the competitors because you just don't want to have to stress about anything.
Absolutely correct, 100%. And catch Christina Voynich, Girls Inc. tomorrow night. And do you know who she has on? Is she going to have a couple champions on?
I don't know yet. I think she's trying to. I think she talked to Jennifer Andrews at the show about having her on because she hasn't been on yet. But I'm not quite sure who she's going to have yet. Well,
I'd like to. Hopefully, she can get some Sarah Hurley on at some point. Maybe she'll have her on next week after the Governor's Cup in California. So.
Yeah, that might be good. I'll let her know that too, and I'm sure she's got, you know, a couple of the winners written down or has some ideas of which direction the show's going to go. But with her and Diana, you know, it can go anywhere, especially when Diana chimes in. It's always entertaining.
That's true. And don't forget, don't miss Mike Liberatore's guest posing routine, as well as Kai Green's guest posing routine, which is up on rxmuscle.com. And Mike, finally, you had a little mishap at the Bros vs. Pros 10, you threw your hat into the ring, you got under the bench, you were going to try to go for all the marbles, the $2,000. You had your headphones on, blasting in your ears, and unfortunately, and people will get to see this for themselves, so on the replay when we put the video up, you banged out 59 reps, which would have been way more than you would have needed to win the event. However, there was a little question on the lockout, and you only got counted for 15 of them or something like that.
Yeah, you know, when people are like 15, I was thinking, it's easy, you know, don't try to be so upset. And, you know, after you get done doing something that's that intense, you know, and you basically go to failure, I mean, you're amped up, your adrenaline's going. So, you know, I was a little upset, and it was my fault. I couldn't hear. I mean, in all honesty, the reps were close. If you want to knock me in a couple, that's fine. But if I would have really been paying attention, or I would have known and could have fixed it in the beginning, for me to do 41 reps or 42 reps compared to what I did with 59, I could have beaten that.
I think you could have. I was upset for you because I knew you had this in you. I said, I said, here's a 50 rep guy. You know, even if you did 45, you would have won easily, and you could have done the full reps.
Yeah, I could have. I mean, if I still would have had enough in me if I would have extended another inch or two or whatever it is. The disappointing part was most of the people thought that the lifts were clean. So, I mean, and I'm not going to say, you know, I always saw something online. Oh, he's going to say he has short arms. Well, I guess my arms are long now because everybody says I had short arms. Now I'm going to go out on a limb and say my arms are normal length, and it was my fault.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We're going to do another one, I think, at the Orlando, the Europa Phoenix show, where we're going to do Bros versus Pros, will be one of the feature events. I think we're going to be doing some bench pressing this, and we'll have to get you back down there.
I want to do bench pressing, and then I want to do pull-ups.
Okay. Well, you can challenge the women in pull-ups. How many pull-ups can you do?
25 or 30.
Wow. All right. Maybe we'll have a pull-up contest to see who can do the most pull-ups.
That's what I'm saying. No, because I want the big boys that can get under the bench and bench 700 pounds.
Yeah.
I want them to get up there and see how many pull-ups they can do. That's a real test of strength.
Pull-ups are tough. I got to be honest with you. It takes a very special talent to do 'pull-ups, and you're not light either. So that's impressive.
So let me see. If I can bang out 50 reps in a bench, 225, and do 25 pull-ups, let's see who can beat that.
I bet you Derek Farnsworth would give you a run for the money.
I wouldn't doubt it, but that would be a good.
All right, maybe we'll have a special. We'll have a special celebrity event. Maybe you versus Farnsworth in that, or something like that.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a test of strength right there. I mean, that's definitely upper body. I mean, with the deadlift, with my herniated disc in my back, I definitely couldn't do the three lift.
I want to talk about one more thing. A new interesting study came out, although I had talked about this in the past before, where they found that women are having orgasms at the gym. A new study has shown. Now, they're not having orgasms because they're trying to have orgasms. They're involuntary orgasms that they're having while they're exercising. Some people call them coregasms because they seem to be linked to exercises that target the abdominal training. Have you ever heard of any women that you've either spent time with or that were friends with that have reported having orgasms in the gym?
Nobody, I've heard of this, but nobody has. My big question is that because these women's husband or boyfriends just, don't get them as worked up as a workout does?
I don't think so. I just think it's a physiology thing, the way their bodies are structured. A lot of them seem to be happen during abdominal exercise movements and any kind of core movements. And the funny thing is that according to the women that were interviewed, a lot of them are embarrassed by it because, I could see if you were in the gym and you're like riding the bike and you're rubbing your, against the bike seat. But if you're just exercising, doing a set of like leg lifts and all of a sudden you have an orgasm spontaneously, that's got to be kind of catch you by surprise,
Yeah. I mean, is after it happens, do they try to do it again or duplicate it? I mean, do we have repeat offenders? I mean, is this something that's going on? Because you figure if it happens once, they're gonna if they like it, which they should, and not feel too embarrassed about it, and they're not screaming and nobody knows they're happening. Hey, they're getting two for the price of one. They're getting their workout done and they're feeling good.
That's right. That's right. So if you see a woman at the gym doing way too many abdominal exercises, you better be suspicious then.
Yeah, either that or I don't know if this is something that you can teach. If you could, I mean, that would be definitely
there you go.
A move or something.
Maybe Christina could start teaching coregasm classes at the gym.
Yeah, sure. We'll work on that right away. That
might be the most popular class she would in the gym. You'd probably have it would be packed out with guys sending their wives there to fucking take the classes.
We'd be rich. And,
you guys could do a video. You could do a videotape, and we'll sell a DVD. Mike Liberatore and Mike Liberatore and teaches coregasms at the gym. That would be
with Christina as the model.
yeah, she'd be the model. I would want you to be. You'd have to be the instruction person.
Hey, if that was really possible, seriously, I mean, how much money you make. I talked with a gentleman when I had to go through a personal training class, and when he was out in L.A., he knew a woman that was doing personal training or group training, and she was a dominatrix.
Right.
And she was literally doing a group training class and beating, and they couldn't get enough. I mean, he's like, her class was booked solid all the time. I mean, that goes to show you if there was a class that you could teach for these, ab training or core training, and women would actually have an orgasm, you would have tons of women signing up because, let's face it, there's plenty of women out there that probably aren't getting the attention from their husband or whoever, and this would be one way they can lose weight and feel good at the same time.
There you go, Mike. That's you. You might be your forte in the future. There, you and Christina could be the Dr. Ruth of the future in the health industry.
with all the friends that I have and the people that, you know, we've tried to help with relationship advice, I mean, I'm serious. I want to write a book, or we need to write a book because, you know, Christina and I, things have always, you know, been pretty easy for us and good, and it's just because we're open and honest and we communicate. But we get so many friends, it's just like, oh my God, it's like a headache. Because like we need to like have a class or write a book or do something.
Yeah, you guys are pretty good. I got to hand it to you. You guys, I never see you guys arguing or anything like that. So
no, not too bad. And if we do, it's, you know, it's nothing big, or, you know, somebody apologizes. You know, it's never, you know, she got a little upset at me at the Bros versus Pros event just because she's like, you're embarrassing me, and I was, you know, a little hot, but, you know, I apologized later to her.
Yeah, you calmed down right away.
Yeah, but, you know, even when we travel together, I mean, we drive in the car, and, you know, we travel to a lot of events, and there's plenty of couples that go, how do you guys stand each other for that long?
Yeah, you guys are good. You're better than me, that's for sure.
We like to talk. I mean, we have similar issues or similar interests, and we just talk, and you know, we're friends. So I think that's a big part of it. We're lucky that, you know, we can do that. So, hey, who knows? Maybe something in the future after we're done competing or whatever, we can, you know, got another avenue to continue making money.
That's right. Thanks for calling in, and great seeing you this past weekend, and we'll see a lot more of you. What's the next show that we're going to see you at and Christina at?
We'll be at the Pittsburgh show, May 3rd. It's a Mannion show. We have a couple of competitors, and, you know, we always like coming out to that show. It's nice to be able to see, you know, friends and you know, do a little work up there, meeting new people, and possibly getting new clients and stuff. But it's a great show, and, you know, I won that show in the past, and I'll keep coming back, you know, for Jim Mannion.
Well, check out Mike Liberatore's guest posing routine on rxmuscle.com. Thanks, Mike. We will be in touch.
Awesome, Dave. Thank you.
That was Mike Liberatore, Ifbb pro bodybuilder, and he helped me do a little wrap-up of the weekend. You know, one of these days, people are going to get a good idea of what we go through when we travel. You know, Aaron was in Australia all weekend, and I was in St. Louis, and we get back early Monday morning. It's hard to crank these shows out, but we want to give you guys an update of what went on this whole weekend, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it as much as we did, and all the coverage on rxmuscle.com. More to come. We have plenty of interviews still to go up. All the winners, second place, third place finishers will be up ASAP as soon as I get a good night's sleep, and we'll trickle all this stuff up. I know Aaron's got a lot of stuff still to come from Australia as well, but for now we are out of time, and I'd like to thank our guest tonight, Mike Liberatore, for stopping by. Until next week, remember, with Heavy Muscle Radio, the truth hurts.
Heavy Muscle Radio is a presentation of rxmuscle.com, the truth in bodybuilding. Tune in next week at the same time for another round with Dave Palumbo, only on Heavy Muscle Radio.